Being a network admin is kind of a thankless job, right? When everything's running smooth, it's crickets. But the second something breaks, oh boy, everyone knows your name. The pressure is just massive. And in the story we're diving into today, the stakes, they couldn't be higher. So, let me introduce you to Karen. She's just started a new gig as a network consultant for a huge hospital. And her job is, well, it's pretty critical. She's the one making sure all that vital info gets where it needs to go. Because if that network hiccups, we're talking about patient care being at risk. It's literally life or death stuff. Talk about pressure on day one, right? And, as if that's not enough, to make things really interesting, on her very first day, the one thing she absolutely needs, the network map, the blueprint for the whole shebang, is just gone, vanished. The admin before her apparently took it with them. This isn't just a small hiccup. No, this is a full-blown crisis just waiting to erupt. Yeah. This right here is what we call a networker's nightmare. It is literally the scenario that keeps people in IT up at night. You're flying completely, totally blind. The clock is ticking, and guess what? It all falls on you. And then it happens. The nightmare becomes reality. The network goes down hard. Doctors are scrambling. They can't get to patient records. The phones are just ringing off the hook. And Karen, she is in the hot seat with absolutely nothing. Zero documentation. She knows she's sitting on a pile of Cisco gear, but she has no clue how any of it is actually connected. So what do you do? Where do you even begin when you're in a situation like that? Totally in the dark, you've got access to maybe one router, but everything else is a complete black box. How do you start turning that chaos into something that makes sense? Well, luckily for Karen and for us, Cisco devices have this amazing built-in superpower for exactly this kind of mess. Her first move isn't just a wild guess, it's a very specific command, one that's designed to slice right through all that confusion. It's time to go find some neighbors. And that superpower is called the Cisco Discovery Protocol, or CDP for short. The cool thing is it's running by default on pretty much all Cisco gear. You can think of it like this. Every device is constantly shouting out, "Hey, I'm here, this is who I am," to any other device that's physically plugged into it. And that little introduction, that's the key that's going to unlock this whole mystery for Karen. So sitting there with access to just that one lonely router, Karen types in her first command, show CDP neighbors. And this simple little command, it's about to give her the first clues, the first breadcrumbs she needs to follow her way out of this maze. And just like that, boom, the router spits out this table of its immediate neighbors. Okay, so let's break this down, because this is where the magic happens. Device ID, that's the host name of the router next door. Platform tells her what kind of box it is. And local and port ID, that tells her exactly which physical ports are connecting her router to that neighbor. I mean, instantly, she's not blind anymore. She's got a little mini-map of her immediate surroundings. All right, but just knowing who your neighbors are isn't quite enough, right? She needs to be able to talk to them. And this is so cool. By adding just one little word to that command, detail, she gets the absolute game changer, the IP address. It's the difference between knowing there's a house down the street and having the actual street address so you can go knock on the door. Okay, so Karen's got the addresses. Now what? Well, now she needs a way to actually get from where she is over to those neighbors so she can keep digging. And that's where a tool called Telnet comes into play. Now, it's an old school tool, and yeah, we have more secure options today, but in a pinch, it's perfect. It lets you remotely log into another device. So for Karen, it's like she can teleport her command prompt from one router to the next, all without ever leaving her seat. And the process itself is just beautiful in its simplicity. Step 1, use CDP to find the IP. Step 2, use Telnet to connect to that IP. Step 3, log in. That's it. That little 1, 2, 3 punch is the fundamental technique for finding your way around a network you know nothing about. Of course, there's always a catch, isn't there? For Telnet to work, the device on the other end has to be set up to actually accept the connection. And that means it needs what's called a VTY password. If the last admin never set one up, Karen would have hit a brick wall, total dead end. Luckily for everyone at that hospital, the passwords were set. And this is a super important point for any real network. You gotta have this stuff configured. All right, so Karen's got her toolkit, CDP, and Telnet. She has her method. Now it's time to put on the detective hat and start piecing this whole giant puzzle together, one connection at a time. And this is where she starts. A completely blank page with just one single router that she knows about, Lab A. Everything else, a total mystery. This is ground zero. And you can just picture her doing this, right? She logs into that first router, runs show CDP neighbors, and starts sketching out the connections. Then she picks one of those neighbors, telnets over to it, and does the exact same thing again. Run the command, draw the connections. She's literally hopping from device to device, and with every single jump, her map gets bigger and more complete. And after she systematically works her way through the entire network, the fog just lifts. What started as a totally blank page is now a fully documented network topology. Every single router, every link, it's all there. She's literally brought order from total chaos. Okay, so the map is drawn, job done? Not quite. A map is great, but it's only useful if you know it's actually correct. So now she's got to verify everything. She needs to make sure devices can really talk to each other using the paths she just drew. And her first tool for that is ping. It's pretty much the most basic test in all of networking. You just send a little hello packet to an IP address, and if you get a hello back, you know you've got a connection. It really is like shouting Marco and hearing Polo back across the pool. But just knowing you can reach a place isn't the whole story. So Karen uses another tool, traceroute, to see the exact path a packet takes. This command literally shows you every single router, every hop it takes to get from A to B. So if ping asks, "Are you there?" traceroute asks, "Okay, but how did you get there?" This is how she can be 100% sure her map is right. So let's do a quick recap of Karen's emergency toolkit. You've got CDP to see what's directly connected to you. You've got Telnet to jump over and log into those devices. And then you have ping and traceroute to make sure everything is connected the way you think it is. And look, these aren't just things you memorize for an exam. These are absolutely essential real-world skills. So, armed with her brand new, accurate map, Karen finds the problem in no time. She fixes it, and just like that, the hospital network hums back to life. The doctors can get their patient data, the frantic phone calls stop, and our friend Karen, she's the hero of the day. Not bad for her first day on the job. But let's leave with one last thought. In Karen's story, CDP was an absolute lifesaver, right? It gave her the visibility she needed to save the day. But think about it. That same incredible visibility, if the wrong person gets it, can be a huge security nightmare. So the real question becomes, how do you balance this? How do you use a powerful tool like CDP for good, while also making sure it can't be used against you?